Determine the volume and surface area of the pyramid shown below. Give exact answers. For the volume, we need 1/3 the base area times the height. This base is 8 by 8, and 8 by 8 has an area of 64, and its height is 7. 64 times 7 is 448. So to give an exact answer, we would want 448 over 3, because we don't want to turn it into a decimal. And this is in units cubed. To find the surface area, we are going to need the area of all triangles and the square on the bottom. We know that the square had an area that was 8 by 8, so 64. And all 4 triangles around the sides will be the same. We know that they have a base that is 8. And triangles use 1/2, the base times the height. But we have to figure out what the height is, because the height of the triangle is actually this part along the side. So we are going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out what that height is. So we have 4 squared plus 7 squared equals that c squared. 4 squared is 16, 7 squared is 49, and when you add those together, you get 65. So that means our height is going to be the square root of 65. Half of 8 is 4, so our exact answer for that is going to be 4 times the square root of 65. And we have 4 of those triangles. We then have 4, 8, 12, 16 of the square root 65s. So we have 64 plus 16 square root 65. And we can't simplify it anymore because this term does not have a square root 65 in it. And if we try and change that, it's going to turn into a decimal approximation. So that is our final answer, but we do want units squared because it is a surface area. In number 4, it says Alejandra computed the volume of the cone shown below as 64 pi centimeters cubed. Her work is shown below. Is she correct? If not, explain what she did wrong and calculate the correct volume of the cone. Give an exact answer. So we have 1/3 pi r cubed times h as our volume formula. But she used 12 in the heights position. The height is actually this line here. So she is incorrect. 12 is not the height. So now we need to calculate the height. 4 squared plus b squared equals 12 squared. To solve for b, we need to move that 16 over. These add to 0. So we are left with b squared on the left side of the equal sign. And then over here we have 128. That means our height is the square root of 128. That is not a perfect square, so to give an exact answer, we're going to leave it in the square root format. Our volume is going to be 1/3 pi times radius squared times the square root of 128. 4 squared is 16. So we can simplify that by writing the 16 and the square root 128 on top with the 3 on the bottom, and then the pi next to it. So all the things that are getting multiplied can go on the top, and then you can have the 3 on the bottom. Usually we write the pi symbol next to it, but like you see here, you could also write it on the top, and that would be correct as well. And this is in centimeters cubed. Number 5 says, what is the length of the chord of the sphere shown below? The chord is this section here. Since this is a radius, and this one is also a radius, both of those have a measurement of 9 meters. So using the Pythagorean theorem, we have 9 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. 9 squared is 81. And when you add 81 plus 81, you get 162. And to solve it for c, we need to square root both of those sides. And the units are meters.